Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Lewis from lewisraskin.com, and this is episode 3 of the Lewis Raskin podcast or blog, audiocast, whatever you want to call it. This is a blog post from lewisraskin.com. It's called The Life Journal, Your Perfect Day. And this is an exercise that I have used and that I learned from just amazing people. And basically it's an exercise that not all of, but a lot of the world's top entrepreneurs, businessmen, businesswomen, and leaders actually use to create less stress, less anxiety, and just a better life. So this is the perfect day, and you could find this at lewisraskin.com/yourperfectday. So have you read multiple books on self-improvement and personal development, yet still aren't where you want to be in life? Or maybe you work really hard, but you feel like you're spinning your wheels. If someone asks you right now, what does success mean to you? Do you have an answer? If you didn't like your answers to those questions, the problem isn't you, it's that you haven't created a personalized vision of success. See, all of the books on success and personal development give great advice. The problem is that a lot of that advice is generic. I mean, it has to be in order to sell. Don't get me wrong, I love learning about different tactics and strategies to optimize my life. In fact, that's what lewisraskin.com is based around. The key issue, though, is that you can do all of the tactics and strategies you want, but if you don't know where that is supposed to lead you to, you'll end up spinning your wheels and working nonstop. And even if you're like Gary Vee and love working, if you don't have a perfect day written down, you'll be vulnerable to end up working on tasks that don't actually move you closer to your dream life. The perfect day is a secret formula used by the world's top entrepreneurs. If you want to get more done, make more money, and still have a social life, you need to write out your perfect day. In order to create the changes you want in your life, you need to be absolutely clear on what those changes are. Any lack in clarity makes it much harder to achieve your goals. So understanding what they are is the first step. To do this, you're going to do the perfect day exercise. Your perfect day exercise will have you come up with your most perfect day. You'll do so by answering a set of questions in a particular order. When you're answering the questions, really visualize your answers in your mind. See yourself living out your answers. Connect with them. This is the same type of mental rehearsal and visualization technique that top athletes and businessmen and women perform to guarantee success. Try to make your day just out of reach so it makes you uncomfortable and super excited. The more vivid you could play this out in your mind, the better. You need to feel it. This helps to identify your core identity. This is about desired experience. Our experience shapes our identity. This exercise will immediately give you focus and direction. It will lead you to becoming more of your authentic self. The perfect day exercise is divided into 2 parts. In part 1, you'll write out 1 to 10 rules you'll have for your perfect day. These are your rules for success. They are the boundaries that you will create to ensure that when you create your perfect day, it truly is perfect. In part 2, you'll answer the questions that will design your perfect day. So the rules are these. Number 1, it is vitally important that as you write down your day, you don't think about how you're going to achieve this lifestyle. This part comes later and needs to be done separately. Rule number 2, each answer should supremely resonate with you. It should be an absolute hell yeah. Rule number 3, don't try to fit your current situation into the new one. Number 4, this is a day you could repeat for the rest of your life. So no crazy, unsustainable activities. You won't want it to be all about fun and messing around. That's not very fulfilling and pretty draining on your health after a few days. Number 5, you have to feel yourself doing that thing. Use your senses by asking yourself, what do I see? What do I smell? What do I hear? What do I touch? And what do I feel? And rule number 6 is that if there were no limitations or consequences, what would your ideal average day look like? In other words, what would your ideal average day look like if there weren't any geographic, health, relationship, financial limitations, and you could do it over and over again and not get sick of it? The more detailed and specific you get, the more likely it is that you'll create the outcome you desire. Remember the quote by Lily Tomlin, "All of my life, I wanted to be somebody. Now I see I should have been more specific." Be specific in your answers. So part number 1 are your success rules. What you want to do is you want to write down 1 to 10 rules that you have for your life. These are boundaries, things you won't tolerate, things you must have, or any rules you want to put into your life. These are the rules that, if you follow them, will lead to less guilt, less stress, and less anxiety in your life. Think of them as your commandments. So what you want to do now is write down the rules for your life. You could pause this if you're listening to it and just literally write down the commandments or the rules that you have for your life, that are the boundaries, that are the things that will really help you create your perfect day. Just write 1 to 10. And when you're done with that, keep on listening. Part number 2 is actually your perfect day. So now that you have your rules of life, go through the perfect day questionnaire. So you turn everything off other than this, obviously, if you're listening to it, or just go to the website, lewisraskin.com/yourperfectday, and answer the following questions. Now, this is going to take a while, so you want to block off at least an hour, I would say, to complete this exercise. Or if you're listening and just want to hear the questions, just listen. So these are the questions in their orders. You have to ask yourself, where would you live? What would your house look like? What time would you wake up? What is the feeling in your body when you wake up? What are the first 3 things that come into your head when you wake up? When you sit up out of bed, what and who do you see? What life purpose would you strive towards? What would you do in the morning? What do you see in the mirror on the way to the shower? What does your shower look like? What products do you use for grooming? What does your wardrobe look like? What individual items do you choose to put on today? Which watch do you choose to wear today? Where do you walk, or who do you walk past, or what do you walk past to get to the kitchen? What do you prepare for breakfast, or what is prepared for you? What music is playing as you eat breakfast? Are you reading anything that morning? If so, what are you reading? Who do you have breakfast with? What time would you start work? Do you kiss anyone on the way out the door, if you're leaving your house in the morning? How do you feel about that person? How do they feel about you? What does your garage look like? How many cars? What type of car? What other equipment is in there? Where do you go? How do you carry yourself into this place, or carry yourself in general? Who do you meet when you get there? Do you meet your staff, your personal assistant? What does the place you're at look like? What's the first thing happening that day? What would you actually do at work? You have a meeting with your typical client or customer. Who is this person? Where does this happen? What do you talk about? Why are they really happy when they walk away from you? After a few hours working, what are the next 3 things that happen that day? What would you eat for lunch? What time do you finish work? When you get home, what music is playing in the background? Who is there? What are you preparing for dinner? Or what is being prepared for you? Dinner is served. Imagine you are sitting at your perfect dinner table. What does the table look like? What sort of cutlery are you using? When you get around to checking your phone, who has been texting, emailing, and trying to get in contact with you throughout the day, and what have they been saying? Has it been a big business deal, sale notification, a text from a guy or a girl who misses you? What is it? Who do you meet after work and where? What are your relationships like? You're walking down the street back to your car, and you pass an ATM and are reminded of how much money is in your personal spending account. How much is this? How much money is in your investments account? This money is money that is invested into appreciating assets, things like real estate, stocks, cryptocurrencies, startups, and other appreciating assets. On the drive home, you're thinking about the next trip you will take to rejuvenate and renew your mind, body, emotions, and spirit so that you could bring more to your life and play at your best without burning out. Where is it, and what are you doing? Who are you going with? What would you do for personal fulfillment? When do you decide to go to bed? Who is going with you, if anyone? And finally, what are the last 3 things you think about before you go to sleep? Is there anything else that is part of your perfect day? That is it. You now know what your perfect day will look like. Doing this exercise requires a lot of thought, but it is totally worth it. For more exercises like this, sign up to the newsletter and get your Wheel of Life at lewisraskin.com. All the best. You're awesome. Lewis.